So what are some natural, some safe ways, safe being I think the most important, to detox some of these many chemicals that we've talked about that are in our body, whether we know it or not?
Sure. And safe is a, it's sort of a nebulous term. I get more specific and I say that what we want to do is we want to detox at a speed that doesn't further overload the already jeopardized systems. So there's a statement people say, well, oh, you just had a detox reaction. Or if they want to use the technical term, you just had a Herxheimer reaction. That is a reaction from poisons moving more quickly than the body can handle that type of movement. And so a safe detox, no matter what it is you're trying to pull out of the body and no matter how you're trying to do it, is one which doesn't elicit any symptoms. So if we bring another symptom in, that means we've overloaded. The body's raising its hand and saying, whoa, would you please either stop or slow down? And that's what I want to avoid. I want to do things more slowly than what will cause that, and teach people that if they wake up the second day after I have started a detox with them, and I don't want them to have to call me, I want them to already know this so that they don't have to bother me. I've already taught them. Oh yeah, boy, I'm more tired today. Okay, let's see. He said stop it for a day or two until I feel my normal, whatever that is. My normal may be pretty bad, but my normal. And then start it up at a slower pace. So if I was taking 5 drops of something, let's try 2 drops of it or 1 drop of it. We'll go up slowly. So safe is doing it at a speed that doesn't elicit more reactions or make you feel worse or add a new symptom that wasn't there. So what you said is, what are some of the safe ways to do that? And there are a number of them, but each of those, most of them can be done at an unsafe speed. So for example, a sauna. Or sweating in general, sitting out in the sun, or on a really hot day, so you're not going to get sunburned, but you're sweating. So sweating is a detox. We know that. They've taken sweat, analyzed it, and found all sorts of poisons in the sweat. So it's one of the things the body uses to get rid of things. But if somebody says, hey, I've got access to a sauna, a friend of mine just bought one of these far infrared saunas that's supposed to be so great for detox, and he'll let me use it, should I do that? And I go, yes, that's fine. But as you just said, in order to make that safe, we need to do it in a way that doesn't cause an overload. How do we do that with a sauna? Actually, very simple. The first day you do it, you get into the sauna, you set it for, it doesn't really matter, let's say 120 degrees, because it doesn't matter, it's not going to reach that. So you set it for 120 degrees, and you leave the door wide open so it never gets very warm. Well, but I'm not going to sweat. That's right, you're not going to sweat. All the detox that's going to be affected is from the detoxification effect of far infrared spectrum of light. So just the fact that you're being bathed in far infrared, or actually in infrared and far infrared, both, is going to have some detox effect without it getting so hot that it's too much. So you do that for 15 minutes, it never reaches temperature, therefore it never turns off. Therefore the infrared coils are on the entire 15 minutes, and you see how you feel tomorrow. If tomorrow you go, yeah, I feel fine. I mean, I wouldn't have known that I did anything. Okay, let's try 3 days in a row. Still feel fine. Okay, now when you get in, close the door. So in addition to the infrared that you're getting, the temperature is starting to go up. And we keep on either increasing the time, or once we're in there long enough that it actually reaches temperature and starts turning on and off to hold the temperature, we may increase the temperature. And we keep on doing that and seeing how you feel. And maybe when you're in there for half an hour after having closed the door, and maybe after 20 minutes it actually reaches 120 if that's what you set it for, and you're starting to sweat, maybe the next day you go, yeah, I feel a little bit more tired. Okay, so instead of 20 minutes, or instead of a half an hour, whatever we set it for, take 5 minutes off. Okay, when I do that I feel fine, good. Okay, do that every day for 2 or 3 days in a row. Still feel fine? Yes. All right, do that daily for a few weeks. After a few weeks, now we've gotten some poisons out. Go ahead and raise it by 5 minutes. If that causes a symptom, bring it back down. So that's something that we can do where we are regulating it to make it at a safe speed. So that's number one, would be using a sauna. Number two would be picking up some brand of kidney or liver, or preferably both, support. And there are a bunch of ones out there. Most of the ones I've tested I don't like at all. There's one from the Pure Body Institute of Ventura, which is in California, called Liver Balance Plus. Those are tablets of multiple herbs. And their kidney product is called Kidney Rescue. It's one of the ones I like. It's available to the public. It's not a health practitioner item. I tell people the first thing you want to do after you pick them up from whoever, you could buy them from the Pure Body Institute, is disregard the label directions, because those could really screw you up, because they're giving an amount that might be fine for some people and maybe you're too overloaded. So instead, take 1 liver tablet with breakfast and 1 kidney tablet with dinner, and do that for a week. And if you go, I'm doing it, don't notice anything, okay, take a liver and a kidney with breakfast and a liver and a kidney with dinner, and do that for a week. Yeah, I feel a little bit more tired than and I got a headache the other day, and I never get headaches. Okay, that's too much. Go back to 1 liver and 1 kidney for 3 or 4 weeks, then try to go up again. Okay, now I don't have the problem because we did some cleaning. And we slowly raise those up until you can take 2 kidney and 2 liver with breakfast, 2 kidney and 2 liver with dinner. Don't have any problem, fine. Do that for the next 8 months and clean those organs out. You know, that's going to be a major benefit. Another product I like a lot is much harder to get, and it's called APO Hepat. It's made by Pecana in Germany, and because hepatic is liver function, and the other one's called Renalix because renal is kidney function. And those are much harder to get because the companies don't want them just sold to the public. So you have to find a health practitioner that you can get them from. But you know, the other two, you know, are fine. Sometimes I have to use the liquids with people really sensitive, because I'm not going to have somebody break tablets in half or shave them. But I can do a drop at a time. And if somebody says, you know, I took a drop of kidney and a drop of liver, and I felt lousy the next day. Okay, take a half a drop. David, excuse me? How do I take a half a drop? And I tell them, I say, as soon as I explain it to you, you're going to go, oh, why didn't I think of that? Take some water, doesn't matter how much. Let's make it simple, 1 ounce of water. And let's make it filtered water so we don't have a bunch of fluoride and chlorine in it. And put in a drop of kidney, a drop of liver, mix it up, and take half of that. You just took a half a drop of each. Oh, wow, that was easy. I had one person that was so toxic, I couldn't get a non-reactive dose until she put a drop of each in an 8-ounce measuring cup of distilled water, mixed it up, and took a teaspoon. A tablespoon bothered her. And a tablespoon, because there are 2 tablespoons in 1 ounce, so 8 ounces is 16 tablespoons. So a tablespoon is a 16th of a drop. She felt tired the next day. We went down to a teaspoon. That's a 48th of a drop. That she could do. It took her 6 months to be able to get to a full drop. But that's okay. We don't want any reactions. So there are a number of ways to do this, and many of them are going to work fine. But as far as not giving a reaction, that's depending on how fast you do it. Now, we have some detox agents. A really good example would be activated charcoal. Activated charcoal doesn't mobilize poisons by prompting the body to dump them. It just binds anything it touches. That's very different. You know, if you walk into a dusty room, it's filthy. There's a ½ inch of dust everywhere. And you take a moist cloth and you touch it to a pile of dust. Because the cloth is moist, it will grab some of the dust. You can now take that and walk out of the room. No problems. But that same dusty room, if you walk in shuffling your feet and the dust comes up, everybody's coughing. So now you've mobilized the dust, everybody's coughing. So if we're just binding something without moving it all, we don't have that problem. So for some people, they have to start super, super, super low. And in addition to maybe a 1/4 of a drop or an 1/8 of a drop, I'll have them take a teaspoon of a really, really fine grind of a US brand, you know, a couple of good ones I've found, of activated charcoal. Put that in a glass, put in, I don't know, 6-8 ounces of filtered water, and shake it up, because if you stir it, you won't get it, you'll just get globs. But if you shake it, you get it mixed up. And drink that maybe a ½ an hour before a meal. You don't want to drink it with food, because I'm not 100% sure that there isn't anything healthy that it might bind. Nobody's done any research on it. So I want it coming in before the food. So if we do that a ½ an hour before breakfast and a ½ an hour before dinner, we're starting to bind some poisons up without mobilizing them from other areas. I've never had that cause a problem. So that's another way to do something that doesn't cause issues.